I'm going to talk about pictures, that's why I need a presentation. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Maria Gubaydullina. I represent the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Sciences of St. Petersburg State University. I'm a fourth-year student, and I'm going to tell you about computational creativity, which is a relatively new phenomenon, and I'm really happy to introduce you to it. So my faculty is Liberal Arts and Sciences. We used to have 12 programs. Yeah. Welcome presentation. We used to have 12 programs. My program is AI and computer science. Hello. As I've said, I'm going to introduce you to computational creativity as a field of study, an example of image generation. Let's first talk about what kind of intersection comes from image generation or creation of visuals in general and artificial intelligence. We can say it can be utilitarian, artistic, or creative. Let's stop on these two and talk about every single part of possible combinations. First part is artistic AI image generation, which forms kinds of art, which can be named here, so tech, computer, digital, AI, media art, and generative art. But art studies contain some limitations. First of all, we are dealing with the finished artifact, so we, as researchers, do not interact as artists with their creation. That's why we are a little bit frozen in this case, and we also need expert assessment and art criticism to evaluate what we call art, so that we study art. To broaden our research approach, we move to something new, which is computational creativity research, which is located at the intersection of relatively 4 areas: philosophy, AI, art, and cognitive psychology. These studies are being led by Association for Computational Creativity, and it has international conferences annually. And there's also a lot of bibliography and references so that you can dive deep into this area. The computational creativity research serves for 3 aims. So the first aim is to develop programs or computers that are creative on their own. So we are talking about autonomous systems. The next goal is to understand what creativity in humans is and how it can be evaluated, or not evaluated, but how it can be replicated or imitated algorithmically. And the last part is developing programs that enhance human creativity, so kind of tools that shouldn't be creative on their own, but they help people to show and implement their own creativity. So we've collected the actual forms of image generation and divided them into 3 groups. The first group is so-called autonomous digital artists, which presumes literally strong AI. Strong AI can be tested by Turing test that has already been mentioned today, and creative tests for creativity itself, mostly for strong AI, which are Lovelace test and its better version, Lovelace test 2. And also there are some approaches, for example by Ventura, that can help you create computational creativity system. The second group is systems that algorithmically replicate human creativity in some way, or dive deep into the nature of human creativity. I can name you an example of Aeron by Howard Cohen. It was the first computer that was drawn. it was not the original, the typical AI technology that we take today as AI technology, but it was painting. First it was drawing in black and white, then it was painting, and it really progressed, and it was very, very inside the idea of what the author designed to be. Also, there are co-creative systems like, for example, robotic hands that you can draw together like in ping pong game, and many other systems. I would also highlight evolutionary algorithms that follow the biology itself and help us generate visual ideas kind of randomly, like in DNA. Here is one more example of co-creative systems, which is empathic AI painter that reads emotions from people's faces, from people that are interacting with art, and which takes these emotions and depicts them in new portraits. Another technology is robotic sponge. It scans the surface in the space and tries to imitate it by different angles and different amount of power put in the sponge while drawing. And the last group, which is the most numerous one and which is strongly connected to deep learning, to generative models. I think you all know GANs, diffusion models, variational autoencoders. And we will talk about creative adversarial network, which is like an application to original GAN in practice. But first, let's consider neural style transfer, which takes the original, the input image, which takes the style, template, pattern, and mix them together so that in the end we can get painting inspired by photos in the style that we feed into the model. So here I've shown you the example that I really, really enjoy because it was my photo and my experiment, and I rate the aesthetics of the result really high. Here is a short introduction to how it works, but let's skip it because we don't have time. And the next example I'm going to show you is the GAN with creative advancement. So originally we have noise, and we have two nets, which is generator and discriminator. But discriminator in CAN is complex. What does it mean? It means that it has additional clause to follow the R distribution, first of all, to decline from the existing styles in art, and to enhance stylistic ambiguity, so that we do not follow the already existing styles, but at the same time we do not go far away from what is usually perceived as art. So in the end we combine the originality with aesthetic pleasure. And these are the examples of the generated pictures that I personally got while training CAN on WikiArt dataset, which actually contains the whole art history. Examples in it, and here you can, maybe if you want, you can participate in short questionnaire. How do you rate these images? Maybe someone would like to answer. Yeah, it is true, but you can choose maybe some, or you can tell about your overall impression. Yeah, they're inspired by works of art. But actually the aim was to kind of invent the new style, so that you cannot distinguish clearly what... Okay, thank you for your opinion. I made a questionnaire a couple of days ago, and people mostly cannot distinguish human-generated samples from AI-generated. Sometimes they say that some of these samples were human. So that we can say that, and there were many other questions that say that people kind of highly, yes, they rate these pictures highly, but yeah, they say that the images are small. But if they were big, then you would understand that they are generated. So that when they're small, they are not really clear, so that you have some doubts. But if you have some doubt, then you try to ask yourself, how do you feel about them? Like in general, picture, composition, color, combinations, and so on. So okay, it's subjective. We also can talk about large-scale text-to-image generated models, like DALL-E from ChatGPT, or Шедевр by Yandex, Kandinsky by Sberbank, Imaging by Google, Stable Diffusion with Journey. Many of you have tried them, I think. And here is one more experiment of how generative models were implemented. I used the applications of generative models for the prompts you can see in the screen. Yeah, I'm struggling with writing the final work. I was struggling until I found this research area, so that I feel inspired, and my feelings are partly reflected in those images you can see in the screen.
Maria, I'm so sorry, but your time is over. Please finish your report.
Thank you for a notification. I'm finishing. On the last stage, how to evaluate creativity, which is really interesting. And you asked me about how to evaluate the samples. So there are some approaches, but they are not universal. They are systematic together, but they cannot, any of them cannot be distinguished as the main one. But there are, and computational creativity research is actually for evaluating computational creativity level and many other issues. So here are some examples of how you can evaluate. And this is the moment where I will finish my presentation. Thank you for this, for your attention. And I'm really happy, as I've said, to introduce you to this field of research. Maybe you will join it.
Thank you, Maria. Do you have any questions? Yes, I have questions. And Maria, thank you for your report. And I would like to ask, what's the legal implications of using these images generated by AIR? What are the legal implications? So as far as I know, so all the images have no copyright. But is it fine just to generate images and to pretend they are yours or something like that?
Yes, this is
many people would do.
Thank you for your question. It's really interesting, and I actually wanted to ask it to the first presenters who were talking about law in AI. I wanted to ask about copyright because it's tricky and a triggering question of how we can decide whether the picture is ours or AI's. It needs to be researched. I haven't done this research yet. But from my personal perspective, my opinion is that, yes, if I train the model, if I choose the input images, if I filter the results, if I help the model to train because there are some bugs, of course, then yes, I'm kind of a co-creator. So co-creativity is one of the branches represented in computational creativity research. So we can think in this direction. But from the side of law, yes, we need to figure it out.
Thank you.
So, first of all, thank you very much for your very colorful, I'd say, very, very colorful report. But do you think that AI, or we may call it as a real creator, or still only human may be called so?
The most numerous categories were co-creative, like with people, right? The first category we were talking about was strong AI system, which is yet not possible. is not, which is yet not exist, that doesn't exist yet. But we should decide if we really want to reach this goal of creating a strong AI computational creativity system.
But just when we are, we are people, we are creating. So I think it's impossible even describe some processes. What is happening? We don't know really. I think no one knows. But AI, as I, at least it's my opinion, what is happening? AI is taking a lot of information and is comparing, and finally we got something. So can we get some? But can we say that it is a creating process?
Thank you for your question. It is really important. I absolutely agree with your interest in it. First of all, we are going to talk about providence in creation. Like, when people, like huge artists, create, do they use only what they have, or they receive some external power? This is the first question to be philosophized about. And the second side of my answer is evaluation of creativity, even human creativity, when we are creating something, is not very clear. And what can we talk about when we evaluate computational creativity? It's even more difficult. But the position of most computational creativity researchers is that they do not go straight and forward from creativity theory to computational creativity results evaluation, but they get the results and they try to interpret them like back forward, because even there is an analogy with generative arts training, and there is a back propagation algorithm. So we first get something, then we return back and we try to fix something. And the opinion you shared was also about generative models, right? That combine and check, combine, check, and then give you the answer. But there are different models from it. So there are also, for example, our own system which is just programmed.
But can we say that as a result we have kind of art made by AI?
Yes, we can, but it depends on who we are. Like, are we art criticists, or do we make an expert assessment? It is a complicated and systematic approach to use in answering.
Yes, it's a very complicated question, I agree with you. But we were pressed for time, but I'm still interested in the ending part of your presentation about evaluation. Maria, what are we evaluating? Yes, computational creativity. What do you mean by evaluation creativity? Is it this the beauty of this creativity, or just the computational? Yeah, what
creative computing?
What side? I'm just in despair. To tell the truth, how can we evaluate the art? How can we evaluate poetry, dance, and so on and so forth? What is belonging to human anticipation of a beauty, of beautiful side of life? And just the same, I think it's my humble opinion, that creativity belongs to human beings. Okay, I agree, let it be belonging to computers as well. But what we evaluate in a computer creativity? Thank you.
Thank you for one more interesting question. While answering I can refer to creativity theories. There are, for example, 4P approach, when we can both check and evaluate the input, the output, the process, the ideation. All these parts can be evaluated by their creativity. For example, in this model, we evaluated the results, the output images, and referring to human perception of beauty, we make questionnaires. Yeah. It is true that it is subjective, and still, if we get some statistic, because when I was getting statistic, I was shocked that most of the people choose the same picture in the row. So can we talk about popular art in this case and opposite to this elitarian art? Can we divide them? Maybe yes. But when evaluating, we can check the popular opinion and the minor opinions as well. And maybe when we get the minor opinions, we can have a more detailed interview where people explain their perception of beauty. But at the same time, we cannot agree that all of the people, beauty and creativity are kind of subjective categories, but we cannot refer to beauty, to every single person's creation, perception of beauty to as right. So maybe there is no right, but maybe there is some right, especially when we get the common opinion about the most beautiful picture in the row.
Thank you. Our discussion lasts much more longer than your report, and I'm sure that we still have some questions to you, but thank you very much. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As well as speakers of St. Petersburg University of Management Technologies and Economics, Ms. Gubaydullina is invited to the stage with a report on lexicogrammatical polysemy in the English language system. Welcome.